We're going to take a look at our cues here on the daily chart first. The 200 SMA, which we're currently sitting right up against, had a lot of trouble with this in the past if you go back to March, and then as well in the past couple weeks or so. So we could get a push here to kind of breach and hold that, but RSI is climbing higher and a couple indecision candles here. Even though we did have those nice big movements in here, we had a lot of volatility, a lot of pullback, creating that indecision in the overall markets in the past two trading sessions, as you can see right here. That 200 SMA is currently sitting at 491, but our main resistance we're going to be worried about is going to be this 495 up here. So you can see we breached it a couple times with our wicks in the past, but for whatever reason cannot climb over that. But if we do this time, depending on if we gap up or down on Monday, 495 is going to be the major resistance in here. Support wise, we're looking at this lower wick that we printed on Friday, which is going to be that 486 mark. And then below there, we're looking at this 481 level right here. Now, if we kind of zoom out here to our weekly chart, you can see that basically that 9-day EMA on the weekly is just kind of propping up this weekly candle right here with that little bit of indecision, as you can tell. So that is currently trading at that 476 mark in here. So if you want to kind of spread your support out a little bit further, 476 would probably be a good marker in here just because of how we're being propped up right now here on the weekly chart. The thing that we're going to look at here when we're talking about the Qs is going to be the difference between Apple, Nvidia, and this Qs in here. So we have to understand how much weight Apple and Nvidia does have in our QQQ ETF in here. But we have to kind of see if all the other stocks are going to go with them or against them, right? And then what's the divergence between the two stocks, Apple and Nvidia? Keep that in mind. It's always just kind of it's kind of easy to kind of gauge where the certain stocks are compared to other stocks within the same ETF. So that is going to be a good kind of gauge for us as we're looking at the Qs in here. And you can see basically that the Qs in here did really the same thing on Thursday and Friday as your spiders do. That's kind of what we expect always. Not really going to see a whole lot of divergence from those two ETFs at all. And basically volatility did kick in, but we're still waiting for those big expected moves to come in, although it looks like everybody's starting to kind of price them in just a little bit. But you have right around a $7 expected move by Monday's expiration, right around a $9 expected move by Tuesday. If you go all the way out to the 16th, right around a $13 expected move. So more or less the same expected moves are kind of priced in for your spiders as they are for the Qs. That's kind of what we usually get. But again, kind of gauge how these ETFs kind of with those differing stocks in there, where the divergences are, kind of keep those in mind as you're looking. So, and then that's going to kind of dictate where we kind of head and to kind of give you an overall gauge of that market in here. So just kind of keep those in mind as we're looking at the Qs and the spiders in here. But again, the numbers that we're going to looking at, if you want to go, spread that support out, you can go out here to the 476 mark on the daily chart. Resistance wise, 495 is going to be the magic number in there. And then really we care more, or we care more about that 495, but then we also have to keep in mind for this 200 SMA here on the daily chart, which is currently trading at 491. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.